All right, guys, let's begin. So I like to start on time, so we are going to begin. And those who are late will have to catch up. So guys, we're going to talk about how to have a great career in real estate over the next 5 years. And what we're going to talk about today is you've got to make some decisions starting today where you want to be in 5 years. In my opinion, it's time to stop thinking about, well, would it be nice someday if I did something? Hi, Kelly. Thank you for joining our coaching, Kelly. I know Sydney's going to love working with you. You're going to make a ton of money with her. So guys, I want you to listen to this. You don't need to write it down. My 5-year plan depends upon my 1-year plans, which depend on my 90-day plans, which depend upon my 30-day plans, which depend upon my weekly plans, which depend upon my daily plans, which all depend on what I choose to do for the next hour. See, when we look at a 5-year plan, it seems like it's a long way away. And because it's 5 years away, December 31st, 2029, we can make the mistake that I always have tomorrow. There's a lot of tomorrows, but each tomorrow costs you what you could have earned today. See, I want you to pretend, Rayo, that you're going to represent your beautiful country of Canada in the Olympics, and your Olympic event is at 2 o'clock on December 31st, 2029. You know the date that you have to be at your peak, right, Rayo?
Yes,
and
absolutely.
You know that there are 8 billion people on the planet. Some of them are going to be playing in the Olympics, the very pinnacle of the best athletes against you. And for you to win that gold medal, you can't waste a day, can you?
Nope, not at all, Coach.
And yet, how many days have we wasted so far this year when we look back?
Quite a few.
I'm sorry?
Quite a few.
And Ray, if you worked for me in my office, okay, if you work for me, okay, Ray, well, I thought you were going to show us something fun, but thank God you didn't show us something real fun. So, Ray, if you worked for me, would there be days that you'd worry if I would fire your ass?
Yes, of course.
People, Kelly knows, because Kelly used to work in the same office as me, right, Kelly? The people that worked for me worked, didn't they, Kelly? Yeah. They would say, well, I'm going to go grab lunch. Why? Why are we grabbing lunch? Why do we need to leave for an hour? Next time, bring something in. We can work through lunch. Why? Because I make money when we're working. We don't get paid to show up to work. We get paid to make appointments. So your 5-year thing, there's 4 things I want you to write down. Your 5-year vision. It's a roadmap to where you want to go. It's just a roadmap. It just gives you the direction of where we want to go. For people like Imran, who has a wonderful team at EXP and a wonderful downline, you should be sharing this with your people at EXP, Imran. Because people always want to go to somebody like you or Ray, who's in EXP, who have a vision for the future. If you have a vision for today, nobody's really interested in working you for today. But when you have someone like Dean Clark, who has a vision where he wants to be 5 years from now and can help them with their vision where they want to be from 5 years from now, God bless it, it's inspiring. It is inspiring. 5 years is 1,820 days. 1,820 days. Write that down. That's point number 2. You have 1,820 days. Now, Paul, with the beautiful headset, I like your earphones there, Paul. You're not thinking it, Paul, but you could be thinking, well, I have 1,820 days. What does today matter? I got plenty of time. So, Paul, put us off mute for a second. 5 years from now, how much money are you earning?
5 years from now, 750 a year.
Oh, I love 750,000. That is a good amount of money. Now, is that American or Canadian? Because it makes a difference if it's a good amount of money.
American.
All right. In Canada,
Pesos.
it's like 1.1 million. Okay, 750 large is a chunk o' change. Everybody agree? So Paul, you work 250 days, that's $3,000 a day. And every day for 1,820 that you choose not to do your job, you're putting that 3,000 off a day further down the line.
Right.
Just a thought. 750,000 divided by 12 months is near as makes no difference, 65,000 a month. Every month that you dick around for 30 days, you've lost $65,000 in the future, guys. Number 2 is 1,820 days. Number 3, time on task over time. Time on task over time, time on task over time. You could live by that motto, time on task over time. Dan Fontaine, how are you, man?
Doing well, Gordon.
I'm excited. Thanks for joining our coaching.
Oh, sorry,
team.
Steve. I got a new coach today. Sorry.
It's all right. We look exactly the same, only completely different.
Totally different.
Yep. You know, here's the funny part. Everybody thinks Gordon older than me, you know? I'm 8 years older than Gordon. He's an old man.
You're way
Okay.
better looking.
Yeah, you know, we both agree with that. It's the plastic teeth. Okay, time on task over time. So Dan, did you go to college, university?
College, yeah.
Where'd you go?
The local Langara College, it's called.
Sounds fantastic. So when you were a sophomore, if you decided as a sophomore you wanted to become a doctor, first of all, if you have parents that were supportive of you, would they be really happy that you became a doctor?
Yeah, sure would have.
Oh my God, they'd be bragging everybody, my son's a doctor. Okay. But as a sophomore at the college, when you decide you become a doctor, it takes how many years to become a doctor?
5, yeah, at least.
Do the courses you have to take from that minute forward change?
Yep.
You can no longer take dance interpretation, music appreciation, philosophic reasons of the dinosaurs. You're going to have to take math, calculus, advanced biochemistry. And not only are you going to have to take advanced courses, Dan, to get into a great university, to get to a great med school, what kind of grades are you going to get?
Excellent grades.
You got to get straight A's, or you're not going to get into the med school you want. But understand, once you made the determination that I want to be a doctor, it takes 1,820 days. Some pissant sophomore in college decides they want to be a doctor, and in 5 years, they're cutting open people and saving their lives. 5 years, 1,820 days. But every day matters, right, Dan? Because you look like a drinker. So I imagine on Friday night when they had a football game, and your buddies were like, hey, Dan, let's go party, man. We want to party. I can't. I got a chem test on Monday. Oh, shit, you're so smart. You'll be fine. Fine is a B. Fine doesn't get me into medical school. So you had to make some decisions. Do I have instant gratification and play with my friends and drink a little bit? Or do I not go drinking, study, and get an A on the chem exam on Monday? Because that A will get you into medical school, a B may not. Everything matters. Once you make the decision that your 5-year plan is important, then everything has to be in alignment with it. Because you know what happens, Dan, for most people in college and realtors?
They don't follow.
Every semester, they don't design a major. So they just take their 5 courses. And they take dance interpretation and psychology 101 and human resources. And they decide to take gym. And in 4 years, they've taken enough courses to graduate the university and they get a degree. And you know what the degree is in, Dan?
Humanity, something useless.
Liberal arts,
Yeah.
which may or may not get you a job. And so many of us as realtors are taking different courses every 90 days. And 4 years from now, we've done a bunch of real estate, but we're not that far ahead compared to 4 years ago, right? Hi, Bianca, how are you? I gotta tell you, Sydney is quite proud of you.
I'm great. Thanks for asking. How are you?
We are so proud of you. You went into Sydney's schedule. How much time between the time you started with Sydney did you take your first listing?
Couple of days.
You're amazing. See, on my screen, Corey's right next to you on the right. In the first 100 days, Corey, how many appointments you set in the first 100 days with us?
It was about 50 plus.
Well, you're bragging a little bit. It was 40, but thank you for doing that. Yeah. I like the 50 plus, but it was 40. See, both Bianca and Corey have a plan and they're working every day. I have seen Bianca's plan. Sydney killed it. Gordon and I were working on plans, and then Sydney's came over the email, Bianca, for you. And I was like, Gordon, we don't know what the hell we're doing. Look at Sydney's plan. This is so much better than the crap we're doing. So good job, Sydney. Time on task over time. 5 years is a tremendous amount of time. Your son or daughter comes home, I want to be a doctor, and in 5 years, they're cutting open people. And in 5 years, you can have everything you want on your 5-year plan. Because a 5-year plan for a real estate agent is much easier than a 5-year plan to become a doctor. Except for one thing. What is it, Ray Stendhal? Why is it easier for people to become a doctor in 5 years than a real estate agent to achieve their goal in 5 years?
That question was to me. I was just changing headsets. Is that right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
said, so when are you going to send me $1 million? No, that's not the question I asked you. What I said is, why is it easier for a person to declare I'm going to be a doctor, for them to become a doctor, than it is for a realtor
Mm-hmm.
to make their goal in 5 years?
Well, the doctor has a very clear, well-defined process that they're held accountable with.
Oh, well,
specific
did you guys
steps.
hear that? Well, stop right there, Ray. Held what?
Held accountable. They're held accountable to a well-defined process with
See, the
that.
problem with our 5-year plan, guys, is we write a 5-year plan, we put it away on our desk drawer, we look at it once a year, and nobody really knows what it is. So Ray, I think you and I had a coaching call this week, and I might have shared with you, Ray, and if I did, I apologize, and if I didn't, I apologize, okay? My wife and I are working on our 5-year plan where we want Watson Powers to be. I own 4 businesses and we want to buy rentals and I want to build a house and blah, blah, blah. And let me tell you, my wife is a very strong woman. She has 9 guns and all my money. Sydney was on the speakerphone with me last night. My wife doesn't take any crap, does she? In my family, Sydney, who wears the pants?
He has Steve has a skirt on underneath there because Bernadette definitely wears the pants in the family. No question about it.
So let me just say that Friday night, we went at it on our 5-year plan. And I mean like F-bombs, A-bombs. My wife and I are very verbose. Nothing physical. Just, you're an idiot. We're not doing that. I want my 5-year plan. She wants her 5-year plan, but we're together. We have to work it out. Your 5-year plan has to have that much passion in it. If you're just writing a 5-year plan because it looks good, it won't happen. You have to wake up in the morning salivating over your 5-year plan. I'll share with you right now. I want to build a barn dominium. I want a 40 by 60 garage drive-through with my office above it. I want a guest room. I want to invite the world's greatest coaches from every profession to come spend 2, 3, 7 days with me. I want to learn how they're doing their job so I can get better at mine. And I have to have them in the garage because my wife doesn't want them in the house. And we have to have a 1-story house over there. It's 1.8 million US minimum. My wife's like, we don't need that. When the hell do we buy things on need? What kind of life is buying things on need? I want. We're fighting about it. And one of us will win. The key is for me to earn enough money that the 1.8 million is inconsequential, right? Your 5-year plan, man, it's got to get you juiced. So Mike Sampson, how old are you?
As of yesterday, 56.
Okay, the average male makes it to 78. One of the 2 of us will be dead in 20 years. I'm hoping it's you and you're hoping it's me. I guarantee you, if they give me a choice, well, Steve, one of the two of you has to die. Which one is it? I'm choosing Mike. And I know damn well you choose me, yeah?
Yep.
You only have 4 or 5 year plans left, Mike.
Right.
So you better make them real good. Your 5-year plan. We need that at Watson Powers. Sydney, I'll send it to you, send it to your clients. Gordon will send it to his. If you guys aren't in our coaching, please join our coaching, because look at Corey and Bianca. Don't they look happy? So Dan, he's over there drinking. He looks like he's in a bar, doesn't he? He's happy, but he looks like he's in a bar. Looks like he's in a pub. Your 5-year plan is so important, because once you've identified your 5-year plan, and my advice is to have it done by November 10th. Oh, we want you to plan 10 great vacations in the next 5 years. See, my great coaching client, Mike, where did you go in the latter parts of September with your wonderful wife?
Santorini and Copenhagen.
Nice. And how long were you gone?
2 weeks.
We love that. We had put in our schedule last year. We have no problem. Sydney, I, and Gordon, you guys taking lots of time off. This is a sprint rest business, although you might have heard otherwise from other people. And I'll prove it's a sprint rest business. Imran, you ever go on vacation?
Yes, sir.
You ever notice how much work you get done the week prior to vacation?
A lot of work.
Imagine if you went on more vacations, how much more work you'd get done.
Yeah, I'd be very productive.
Plan 10 great vacations. See, someone like Dean, who's in wonderful shape, and he's really young, he's like 28, Dean Clark is. Dean Clark can plan the next 5 all the same. But let's be clear, Mike is on a bell curve. There's a high probability he's healthier now than he'll be in 5 years, and he's in great shape. And I say that because I admire him. But mathematically, we all live on a bell curve. So I would advise Mike that of your vacations, the ones that require more athleticism. So if you and your wife want to climb Mount Kilimanjaro, go now, because you may not be able to in 5 years. And I don't mean you can't, Mike. You just understand, guys.
Right.
Mathematically, economically, we can afford better vacations every year. So theoretically, over the next 5 years, each year's vacation gets a little better. Your 5-year plan. Once you have your 5-year plan done on November 10th, now you can do your 1-year plan. I'm going to advise you, don't do your 1-year plan until you do your 5-year plan. So many of the 1-year plans we have done in the past are just shiny object plans. It's how I feel today. The market's down. Oh, I don't really want to do a lot of stuff. Oh, the market's hot. Oh, I'm going to have a great year. But then you become a liberal arts major. You're just choosing courses that would make you happy. And there's nothing wrong with a liberal arts degree. I just don't know a lot of people with a liberal arts degree that make a lot of money or are taken seriously. Your 1-year plan has to be in alignment with your 5-year plan. But you can't have a 1-year plan without a 5. You don't want to have a 1-year plan that's not in alignment with your 5, because we're going north. Why are we going east? Remember, you have 5 1-year plans in your 5-year plan. This is the first one. Work with Sydney, work with me, work with Gordon. Let's make sure that if we're going to med school in 5 years, what are we doing the first year to make sure we're going to med school? If we want to buy investments, what are we doing now to get our investments lined up? If we want to buy vacation homes, what are we doing now to be in alignment with vacation homes? If we want to pay off our bills, which is a real common one, right, guys? I want to be debt-free. Well, then going out and dropping $600 on a dinner for 2 is not in alignment with going debt-free, is it? I've got a 2-year-old car. Nice, that's fine. It's just a tool. Well, Steve, I want to buy a $180,000 car and the payment's only $3,000 a month. How is a $36,000 a year payment in alignment with you becoming debt-free? You're trying to buy an expensive car to look good to people who aren't watching. Now, do we need a nice car? Of course we do. You can't show up to a $2 million listing in a 10-year-old Honda with a missing hubcap. It doesn't work. But you don't need to buy a new car every 2 years to get hired. Ray Stendhal has one of the most beautiful cars in the world. What's it, 10 years old, Ray?
Yeah, I have a couple, yeah.
Yeah, what's the car? What's the Mercedes you have, which is a classic, beautiful Mercedes. I would be proud to drive that to any listing appointment because it
It's-
shows quality. What is it?
It's an SL 550.
And what year?
It's a 2007.
It's gorgeous. Now, here's the fun part. A new SL 550 costs how much, Ray?
180,000.
How much did yours cost you? Come on, be honest. I know the number.
Pretty cheap. We'll just leave it at that.
No, we're
It's
not.
it's in
Ray,
great
this
condition.
isn't honest. Everyone's here
Okay,
going,
$11,000. But I got a good deal from it. It was
$11,000, guys.
Mhm.
And never is a seller going, that's a 2007. You don't know what you're doing. It's a gorgeous car, isn't it?
And coach, he saved the money for other investment. So
Did
smart.
you hear Rayo? Rayo, how
Yeah.
many investments can you buy with 170,000?
In Canada and where I am, one for sure, or two.
So Ray had a choice. I could drop $180 on a car, which goes down in value. I could pay 11,000 for a beautiful car and get an investment, which goes up in value. This is how a 5-year plan works.
the funny thing is I just use it for listing appointments. I don't drive it for anything else. It's really just for listing appointments.
And your clients have mentioned they like it, don't they?
They do. I got a listing appointment because the guy was a car guy. And he said, I like your car.
And again, there's nothing wrong with Imran, your business partner. Michael drives a beautiful Porsche, yeah?
Yep.
I know, because the son of a bitch on Zoom always downshifts during our call to make me jealous, okay? And if you have the money, buy the Porsche. But if your 5-year plan says I want to be debt free, buying a $235,000 Porsche is not in alignment with being debt free. We have a conflict, yeah? And I don't mean be cheap. Ray's not cheap, Ray's smart. If you're a cheap realtor, people don't hire you. Oh, I don't use a drone. I have a Polaroid I throw in the air and it takes a picture in 3 seconds. You're not getting hired, okay? But Ray's smart. Your 1-year plan. With your 1-year plan, make sure you understand that the year is not equal. We can see that our wonderful client Jake is in Las Vegas. Jake, what's the temperature right now in Las Vegas?
About 90 right now.
What is it in mid-August?
100, 110.
It's hot in August, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do a lot of people want to buy a house in August in Vegas?
No, not as much actually.
I saw a wonderful thing. It said, I'm thinking to coming to Vegas. What is Vegas like in August? And the guy replied, have you ever been cremated? So what we do know in August, there's going to be less sales in your marketplace than there would be in what, March?
Correct. Even
So guys,
September
when
is a
you're
better
doing
month.
your 1-year plan, it can't be equal. Now, if you live in Scottsdale, Arizona, the split is 2%. It goes up and down 2%. It's year long. It's nice weather overall. It's still hot as heck. But the clients we have in Scottsdale, there's only a 2% variation. Kelly lives on the peninsula in Virginia. It is a March through July market, right, Kelly? If I remember correctly, 65% of all the transactions happen between March 15th and August 10th. 65% of all the deals for the year happen in 6 months. So if Kelly isn't working her butt off during that 6 months, it's going to be a long winter. When you're doing your 1-year 2025 plan, let's look at the MLS statistics in a normal market. Pre-COVID. We can't go to COVID to see what happened. Their houses are selling 24/7. But go to 2017, 18, maybe 19. Let's look at the seasonal fluctuations and let's plan for that to happen, yes? So Chris Yoakum, Tell everybody where you live so they can send you the referrals that you deserve. And maybe Chris isn't going to. Aubrey, where do you live so they can send you the referrals that you deserve?
I live in Boca Raton, Florida, Palm Beach County.
And I'm excited about Aubrey. Let me tell you, we're working on two things that are going to kill. Number one, she's a fantastic EXP agent, and she's working on growing her team. Her husband, Stephen, and her great partners. We have a great call to work on their SOPs. Look at her. She wants to do luxury. She sent me a wonderful text today. Tell everybody what the text was about your question, because to me, it made me happy because we're going in the right direction.
One of my clients referred me a $4 million buyer that's looking for a vacation home out here that I took out today. And I asked Coach, I want it to be a fiduciary relationship. I don't want to step on anybody's toes because I want more referrals. And so I said, I want to be black book like one of Coach's other clients. And I asked, do I contact the person that referred me the business and send them some type of gift or not? Because I don't want to overstep my boundaries with my buyer that I'm working with if he doesn't want anybody to know what he's doing.
And I said, send them a gift. And I told you to make the gift what?
Very personal.
And unique.
And unique.
Because when you send somebody a thank you gift and it's unique and personal, it costs what?
Time. And that's the only commodity that we have, right?
And when you show somebody that you gave them time, they understand that you respect them. I had the great fortune of living in Japan. I met my wife in Japan. I got married in Japan. And when you present a gift to somebody in Japan, they say, thank you, Daijobu, etc. And they say, where did you get the gift? Oh, I got it at Sugi. Oh, it's beautiful. Where did you get the box? I went to Shinaba. Where did you get the wrapping paper? I went to Sasebo. Where'd you get the ribbon? Oh, I went over to Yokohama. Where did you get the aglet? The more places I went to get parts of their gift, the more value they have in my life. Time. You go on Amazon. Betty, thanks for the referral. Aubrey, send. It took 30 seconds. And they know it, don't they? The client she's talking about is a wonderful client that we represent. And we're blowing the whistle. He's doing all the work. When he first started working with us, his average price was $650. Second month in a row, he's made $1 million in commissions. Made $1 million in August, made $1 million in September. When I talked to him on Tuesday, this month, he's already made $380,000 in commissions. We're just blowing the whistle. He's doing work. But his name is Black Book Realty. And the motto is, we never say no.
Hey, Steve.
Yes.
I want to say something about Aubrey. If you guys are not following her on TikTok, you need to. She is putting some great content out. I mean, really beautiful, beautiful content. And for those of you that I coach, I mean, we have to be on social media, but TikTok is, honestly, guys, you're going to reach a much younger, hipper clientele, and she's going for luxury. You're going to get it there. That stuff that you're posting is spectacular. So good for you, Aubrey. Congratulations.
Thank you. I have to give kudos to my husband, Steven.
Well, you could have just left the word husband off and you could have said, I have to give kudos to Stephen. It would have been good as well. But either way. No, Stephen is awesome. They're a wonderful team. So going back, when you do your 2025 goal, make sure you're using seasonal changes, okay? Don't divide into 12 equal parts because it's not a 12 equal part market. See, we got someone like Mike Sampson. Mike, in Seattle, they celebrate Thanksgiving, yes?
Yes.
But it's Thursday at 3 o'clock.
Yep.
For Kelly, she's on the East Coast. Thanksgiving is the whole week. See, East Coast people, Thanksgiving, I mean, it's a big deal. We have songs about it. We put our hand on a piece of paper. We draw little turkeys. Honest to God, it's an entire week. Nobody does on Thanksgiving week. For my West Coast people, Ray Stendhal, it's Thursday at 3 o'clock. It's just one day off with a Friday sometimes.
Don't leave the Southerners out. It's a whole week for us too.
Well,
you're
that's because you
in the
live in
South,
Arkansas.
it's
It
the
only
same
has one
thing.
vowel, so you have to, okay? But yeah, the people in the Midwest, but again, this is where you guys have to decide as a business person, when am I taking time off? We know that in Arkansas and in Newport News and on the East Coast, not so much Florida, but it's a whole week. So you better plan that week to be down for real estate. You can't say I've got 4 equal weeks in November. So plan your 2025 with the seasonal changes. Aubrey is in beautiful Fort Lauderdale, Florida. She's in a gorgeous place. Oh my God, I almost bought a house there, except the agent was awful and I couldn't buy it from a bad agent. But it is not the hottest market in June, July, and August. Because everybody with money, they leave Florida. I don't live there during the summer. It's hot. I'll be down there next week, Aubrey. I'll be down back to Florida for 6 months.
Yeah, come visit.
I will. So understand, guys, that Aubrey can't say that her July is going to have the same number of closings as January. Does that make sense, everybody? And if you
Yes.
don't understand this, talk to me, talk to Sydney, talk to Gordon. But you got to plan accordingly. And what does that mean? Well, Aubrey knows that January is a hot month where you are, right, Aubrey? So I'm
Yeah,
going to recommend no vacations in January.
I'm going on vacation, January, February, March, prime season.
Good.
Yeah, right.
Sure you are. But understand that if we were managers at Walmart, would they allow us to take a week off between Thanksgiving and Christmas?
No.
That's why the managers make so much money, because somebody above that manager has told him or her, you can't take time off. Sydney's son, or is it son-in-law, is a bigwig at Walmart, yeah? They dictate when he can take time off because they need him working when they're making money, yeah?
Right. That's right.
Only real estate agents, they take time off when it's real important. And I'll share this with you. I threw a guy out of my schedule many years ago because he demanded to make $1 million, which isn't a big deal. I mean, people demand all sorts of crap and they want to make $1 million, no problem. But then he also lived in Southern Florida. And I looked at the schedule. I said, we're going on the 27th of December. I'm going to Breckenridge for 5 weeks. Whoa, whoa, whoa. You're going to ski in Colorado during the best 5 weeks of the year. This is why you haven't made $1 million. You're leaving during Christmas season in a retail store. Anyway, he said, well, I've got to ski. Except that 25 to 30% of the market is done in that 5 weeks. Guys, we got to have common sense on this, yeah? Once you have your 5-year plan done, once you have your 1-year plan, Sydney, I, and Gordon need your January, February, March plan. Your 90-day plan has to be in alignment with your 1-year plan and alignment with your 5-year plan. I can't tell you how you're going to feel when everything is dominoed, when everything makes sense, when we have the dot on the map and we're driving towards it, as opposed to I'm busy all day long, yeah? Write this down. Do not confuse activity with achievement. Do not confuse activity with achievement. Stephen Luke, are you on there? Can you turn on your microphone? Hello, Stephen. Hello, Steve. Evidently, we can't turn our microphone. Anyway, hi, Steve. Glad you could join the call. So I'll ask somebody can do it. So, Bianca, welcome to our show. Bianca, can I ask you, what do I mean by do not confuse activity with achievement?
Just because you're busy doesn't mean you're achieving your goals.
You guys hear that? How smart that is? Just because you're busy doesn't mean you're achieving your goals. I could literally punch a brick wall and I'm active, but I'm not really doing anything, am I? See, so many of our day, we're just busy with other people's agenda. So I have a wonderful financial planner. He's one of my better friends. I've known him since 1991. And we had lunch one time, and do you know Ken Mason, Kelly? He's from Mason Associates, him and his brother own the company. And so he said to me in a very nice way, because he's amiable, how come we're not growing as fast as you are? And I said, because you're taking me to lunch. He said, what do you mean? I said, Kenny, I don't want to have lunch with you, but I'm at lunch with out of respect. But you have lunch every day with somebody. You're having lunch with the same people. You and your brother play golf together once a week. You're not buying financial planning from your brother, and your brother's not buying financial planning from you. So for the 5 hours you guys play golf, what the hell are you doing? You told your wife you're working, but you're not. See, confusing activity with achievement. I said to Kenny, every time I call and talk to you over something, you're in meetings. Meetings are not work. Kelly, do you remember people used to come watch me prospect at my office? I don't know if you ever, people would drive and watch me prospect. It's like watching paint dry. Honest to God, my scripts are on the wall. I read the script, I read the objection, I set the appointment. Then I call my owner. I read the script, read the objection, set the appointment. After about 30 minutes, they get bored and have to walk around the office because they thought I was doing something magical. I'm reading off the wall. We finish at 11. They go, oh, can we have a meeting? Sure. Kelly knows them. I'd walk out and say, Barbara, Michelle, they want to have a meeting. Okay, let's have a meeting. How's our day going? And Barbara would say, well, do you want the truth? Or do you want to hear what you want to hear? I want to hear what I want to hear. It's going great, Steve. All right, meeting's over. And they would say, well, don't you go over your listings? Don't go over the pendings. Barbara, are the listings good? Yeah. Do you need my help for anything? No. Okay. Michelle, the pending's good? Need my help? Yeah. Well, I don't want to have a meeting, know what's going on. You guys want to make your 5-year plan, you got to be CEO, not COO. Corey, what's the difference between a CEO and a COO?
The COO is in charge of operations, and the CEO is the owner.
CEO is in charge of big picture stuff. You have to hire assistants to be the COOs. There are 4 P's you guys got to be doing every day to make serious coin if you're in production. Some of the people on this call are team leaders. But if you're in production, these 4 P's should account for 75% of your day. And Jake, you're relatively new to our schedule, so I'm going to put you on the spot because you're a terrific agent. Honest to God, I enjoy coaching Jake.
Right.
He is so far ahead of most of the people I get into my schedule. I am 6 months further down the line with him in only 3-4 calls because he gets it. This man gets it. Jake, how much money do you want to make in 5 years?
I'd like to make about 3 million in 5
Okay.
years. Yeah.
I'll help you with that, okay? Because you'll get it. You get this.
Okay.
So what are the 4 P's that as a real estate agent, they all start with P, that you can do to make money? Anything other than these 4 P's, you ain't making money. Just take a guess, Jake. You're going to be right or wrong, but at least you're confident. Say something.
The 4 P's.
Yeah, give me something. Real estate that starts with a P.
Prospect.
That's 1.
Present.
Yep. Houses to buyers and sellers. That's 2.
Yeah. Pre-qualify.
Nope.
No. Not sure on the other 2.
Anybody want to guess what 3 and 4 is?
Practice.
Price reduction and practice.
Price reduction and what?
Practice.
Practice. So I'll keep things metrically simple. If you work a 8-hour day, 75% of 8 hours is 6 hours. So you practice for half an hour, gives 5.5 hours left. If you're going to a listing presentation and the drive there, drive back, and time there is 2 hours, we have 3.5 hours left. If you're not doing price reductions today, you should be prospecting in one shape or form 3.5 hours. On the days you don't have any appointments, you're going to role play for half an hour and prospect for 5.5 hours. Any other activity you do ain't making you any money. Well, Steve, I gotta work on my Facebook. Yeah. 2 hours a day. I gotta go to the bathroom. Yeah, 2 hours a day. Well, Steve, I gotta work on other things. Yeah, 2 hours a day. Well, suppose I can't get them done in the 2 hours. Yeah, that's what they call overtime. See, when you have a lot of listings, there's a lot more admin, right, guys? Then all of a sudden we start to reduce the time we spend on the 4 Ps. Then we have closings and we make coin. Then we pay our bills, but then we have no listings. And then we start to work again because we have time. And then we get too busy, we can't prospect. So let's make the commitment that in 2025, we're going to spend 75% of every workday on those 4 Ps. Because we have two choices. We can make other people happy, or we can make our goal. Can't do both. When you decide you want to make your goal, you make a lot of other people unhappy. And I'll give you an example. As an agent, the only person that could be interrupting my prospecting was a new buyer or a new seller. My assistants knew if they walked in to ask me a question and it wasn't about a new buyer or a new seller appointment on the phone, they got fired. And my wife knew if she had to talk to me during the prospecting hours, she better call my assistants. And my assistants would be wondering, do I go and interrupt Steve for this or do I get fired? Because I love my wife, but I went to work to make money. And unless it's an emergency, and there are emergencies, the kid fell at school or something, but don't be calling me at 10:30 wondering what I'm doing this weekend. And when a lender tries to call you at 10:30 and you pick it up because I've been trying to reach him for 2 weeks, you just said, let me put my goal on hold so I can make a lender happy. Boy, doesn't that pay well, huh, guys? I'm going to finish this with how I started. My 5-year plan depends on my 1-year plan, which depends on my 90-day plans, which depends on my 30-day plans, which depend on my 7-day plans, which depend on my 1-day plans, which all depend on what I choose to do for the next hour. Every hour matters, right, guys?
Yep.
Questions, concerns, issues on this?
Steve, quickly, you mentioned the car. Sometimes people respect that. They want a successful realtor. Other times people are petty and they're like, I'm not paying for your Porsche. Thoughts?
I have 2 cars.
Yeah, but how do you know which one to take when? I mean, besides the obvious high price, low price.
So, Mike, we're going to meet tomorrow night, you and your wife. Just out of curiosity, Mike, what do you do for a living?
I am a dentist.
And your wife?
She's actually just a homemaker. She takes care of the 2 kids.
Wow, what a great family unit. So what's your specialty in dentist? Say cosmetic.
Cosmetic.
I'm driving the Porsche.
Yes.
Family dentistry. I'm driving the Toyota. Maybe. But we're probably going to drive by your house before we go out there. We're going to take a look at what your house looks like.
Right.
When in doubt, I'm going to overdress a little. I'll overcar.
Okay.
Okay. But I'm not driving to a house where they're squeezing 10,000 equity. And they're, it's Mike, we bought it 2 years ago. It's hard to go up in value. We got to get out of here. We can't afford to make the payments. And I drive up in a $250,000 Porsche and wearing a $5,000 suit. It's not a good look.
Right.
At the same time, look at Aubrey. She's got a $4 million buyer. And I don't know if you guys heard this. It's a $4 million buyer who's looking to spend $4 million on a vacation home. I ain't bringing the Toyota. But race car, which is a classic, beautiful Mercedes, would be acceptable. But
What
you
if
got that.
What if you only have a Toyota? Do you go and rent a nicer car? I'm
Sure
being
you do.
curious. I mean, I don't have a Toyota, but I'm just curious to know, like, what do
Yeah,
you
you
do in a
do. You
situation
do.
like that?
You do. You do. You do. I had a really nice client who bought a very expensive home, and I called my buddy who runs the BMW dealership, who I bought a few from him. And I said, listen, I need a 740 for 2 days. Can I get my car worked on and that be the valet? And we have an M3. I have 4 BMWs in the driveway, and I bought them from him. He said, sure. So I got a beautiful 740i to pick up my client at the airport because he doesn't want to get his ass in my little M3 convertible. Got to play the game, yeah.
Yep.
People that are buying a $6 million house don't want to be in a 4-year-old Toyota.
No.
And don't try to sell yourself on, well, it's the person inside that matters. Yeah. And you also don't get swiped to the correct way on Tinder because they can't see your inside. Okay. Clothes make the man in our society. And by man, I mean human. And how do I know that clothes make the person? Because naked people have very little influence on our society. You got to dress the part, right, Aubrey? I have a buddy of mine who has cubic foot money, and I mean lots of money. Like he can't spend more money in one day than he earned that day money. And we were on his boat up in DC, and this guy was coming to him with an idea, and we're sitting there drinking some bourbon that's too expensive. You know Johnny Lawson from WM Jordan, right, Kelly? Johnny's got a 146-foot boat that he keeps crewed all time, never reases it out. So we're sitting on his boat, and this guy's making this pitch to him, and it was a decent pitch. And John said, let me think about it. And he walked away, and John went, he ain't got any money. I said, how do you know? Look at the back of his shoes, Steve. People with money don't have wear marks on the back of their heels. He's worn those shoes 20, 30 times. People with money notice that. See, Aubrey, the reason why Bentleys have sheepskin carpets is when you wear those beautiful 3-inch heels, the heel print is only this big. And when you got weather-tacked mats in your car, it scrapes the rubber. And when you're walking up the stairs to show a house, they're looking at your ass, and they're also looking at your heels of your shoe. Well, they are, Aubrey. I'm looking at my ass when I walk up. Every kid does. Come on, we're adults. They're looking at the back of your shoes, and if they're scraped up, the person who's buying a $4 million house goes, she ain't got any money. She's a poser. Because people with $4 million for a vacation home don't have wear marks on the back of their heels, do they, Aubrey? They don't wear shoes till they wear out. You're going to play the game in luxury, guys. You got to play the game. And they know a poser when they see one. So borrow a car, Aubrey, if you have to, yeah? Oh, is this your Jag? No, I'm test driving every week, see if we want to buy it. Sounds good, right?
Yeah.
Questions on this? If you don't have your 5-year plan, email me at stevepowerscoaching@gmail.com. Email Sydney. We'll send it to you. One of the great things about Watson Powers is we believe we have the best coaching in North America, if not the world. And we don't share our shit just because we trying to hire coaching clients. These are proprietary stuff. So for the people on this call, if you email me, I'll send you our 5-year vision so you can fill it out. Questions, concerns, issues? Guys, let's dream big. Let's work hard. We got 5 years, 1,820 days, right? Corey, we've been together about 120 days. You've set about 52 appointments in 120 days. Thinking big, because you're not spending a lot of money on hair care products. How much money would you like to earn in 5 years? What do you think our goal should be for the 5th year?
All right, wrote it down. 3.5. I'll be sending you my 5-year vision.
And so let's do something fun for Corey. Corey, in 5 years, what will be your average commission?
5 years, my average commission should be about 30 grand.
So would you divide 3.5 million by 30 grand?
Yes, I am a business person. So you told me to keep my calculator in front of me.
That's right. See, Ray Stendhal has a calculator, but he has a TI-35 with the cosine button, and he knows how to use it. He knows how to use the memory plus, memory minus buttons.
116 is the number.
117.
How many?
117.
So if you set 5 appointments a week, would you go on 3, take 2?
Yes.
And 2 a week times 52 is how many?
104.
If you double ended some of your properties and some of your sellers became a buyer, would that be 117 deals?
All over that, yes.
So all we have to do is learn how to set one appointment a day and you got 3.5 million, huh?
Yes. You make it that easy. That's how I'm making $1 million next year.
Guys, this isn't difficult. It's just having a plan, yeah?
Yes.
Call Sydney, call me. Sydney, could you tell everybody your cell number so they can call you if they need it?
Absolutely. Area code 501-837-6199. My email is ckfullen, FULLEN @gmail.com.
So guys, we're here to help you. We want you to make $1 bazillion. Bianca, we're real proud of you. Honest to God. Sydney called. I mean, it's so funny. We've been doing this for years. I mean, between Sydney and I, and we're not talking about Gordon because that is in Europe for 2 weeks on a boat while Sydney and I are working. Okay. So between Sydney and I, we probably have 140, 150,000 half-hour calls under our belt. So we've done a couple of these. Please call us. We're here to help you. Okay. This isn't a 30-minute training call once a week. If you're not prostituting us, you're not getting your money's worth. You got this?
Yep.
Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.
Thanks.
Bye, guys.
Thank
Have
you.
a great week.